DJ till death, do us part. I won't mess with your heart. I'm up next.
Podcast of Dustiny, episode 37. I can't believe I got a chance to talk to my guest that I have today. I've been a fan of this guy and his whole collective, his whole group, Dark World, for a really long time. I found out about these guys in like 2014, and I've been a huge fan ever since. And let's just get into it. DJ Lucas, what's up, man? I don't want to nerd out on you too much,
No, what's up, dude? It's good to see you again. Hanging out.
Absolutely. We're here. Every episode's usually in a different location, but sometimes, like with my guests, I can't, meet up with them in person because they're on the other side of the country. And I've done a Zoom episode before. The first one was with Jeff Richards from SNL and Mad TV and stuff like that. And it seems like all my Zoom episodes are just special ones, right? With people that I'm fans of and people that I can't believe I am meeting and talking to on Zoom. But what's up, man? How you doing? You doing good? You having a good day?
Doing good. Yep. Sunday, daylight savings time.
Yeah. We were talking about daylight savings time before this, right?
Yeah, I guess Arizona doesn't do it or something, but we do it over here.
Yeah. There's no point. What's the point of having daylight savings time, right? I'm over here in Arizona. I'm like, we don't need it.
I don't know the point. It must have been to get some more daylight in or something, but
yeah.
I think that it's a highly contested thing. So I think we'll see a lot of changing of daylight savings time in the next 100 years or whatever, ups and downs, and
because it's like a spiritual thing, right? That people, have with related to daylight savings time, the rising of the sun, or I don't even know what it is.
But it's also just like the kind of shit where it's like you're born and you just like, oh, daylight savings time, that's a regular thing, But the idea of like undoing things that we're like just so used to is sort of interesting too.
Yeah. Before we get into making this the daylight savings time podcast, which is what me and DJ Lucas are actually thinking about doing, we're going to be talking about this afterwards about our daylight savings time idea, the podcast. But I met you at AZ Way Too Active, this warehouse out here that kind of like they put on big events and things like that, DIY events and stuff. And I met you there for a show that you did with Rizzy and Ryda, two guys I recently had on my podcast. And that show was really, really fucking fun. It was a very kind of a specific audience that came to see the show because it was produced by Rizzy, right? And yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that. How did you guys link up? Like,
I don't know exactly. I mean, Rizzy was someone who found my music somehow and always just sort of communicated with me. Like I have those people, of course, like that I'll just like kind of meet on Instagram who always support me, like, post my music all the time. And then after a while you're like, oh, this person could be like my friend, So like he just sort of like hit me. I always liked my music. And then he was like, bro, we got to get you to Phoenix. My girlfriend's family is from Albuquerque, so I'll be out there like a lot of times in the holiday season. So I was just like, yo, I'll be out there in the Southwest. I'll come out to Phoenix. And, he curated a great show. He knows a lot of cool people. Shout out to Doom Division and them, Mobile Suit. You know what I'm saying? So Phoenix got a cool little scene. So he just knows a lot of cool people. Shout out Ryda, and he put all them together. And it's always fun when, an artist comes from out of town to sort of like curate the local music around it as well. So that was a great, experience. I mean, those kids, what were they called? Like Slaughter Hill or whatever. Those kids who were all in like high school, those kids fucking killed it.
One of the kids in that group is Bambi, and they performed at one of our house shows. Dude, they're really fun, and I like seeing their like progression and stuff like that. And
yeah, no, that's the kind of, there's nothing better than watching kids, making music at 15, and then every day it's just so much happens, growth at that point,
So you actually do come out here quite often, you said, in Arizona?
I'll come to Albuquerque a good amount, but not Phoenix. That was really maybe my second time in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's awesome. But Massachusetts is where you're from.
I'm from Western Mass, yeah. From like from like the other side of the state from Boston. So that's why we claim Western Mass, because most people think of Boston when they think of Massachusetts, Red Sox, Patriots. But
Yeah.
our culture is the west side of the state. So
And you
from Amherst.
probably have to kind of be kind of do Western Mass as a whole, right? Because of how many people are in your crew. You got it, right? And there's probably people that aren't just from Western Mass that are in Dark World.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Western Mass though, like as a terminology, is another thing like daylight savings. I was just born into it in the sense that, I mean, I was born in Eastern Mass. I was born in Boston, suburbs and stuff. But then when I moved to Western Mass when I was in fourth grade, like people call everything Western Mass. It's because like, you chill town to town out there and stuff. So it's like you might have, a friend in each town, or, some kids, might just be at the local high school, Amherst High School. But I went to lots of private schools. I was all over the place. There's a lot of extracurricular activities from music to sports to arts to camps, so you're going to mesh in with other towns kind of no matter what. So we just call it all Western Mass. I think we just call it that too, because it's sort of this identifying factor that's identifies us away from Boston to an extent. It's
kind of like us with saying Phoenix. If we're in Tempe, if we're in Glendale, if we're in Surprise, we're still going to kind of say, come on out to Phoenix.
Exactly. It's exactly like that. So the metro just takes over, but we're so far away. We're about an hour and 30, hour 40 from Boston. At least an hour 20 from the metro, that we're just as close to Albany, to an extent. Like we're smack dab in the middle. So
yeah,
it's a different. Yep.
One thing, first thing I wanted to like mention about how I got introduced to you guys is, I think the first thing that I found from like the whole Dark World thing was the Vice video that you guys had. Did you guys do a Vice video?
Or not Vice, it's a Fader, you mean?
It's Fader. I'm sorry, it wasn't Vice. It was Fader.
No.
And it was just kind of showing your guys' like underground scene, like in the basements and stuff like that. And I was like, who the fuck is this?
This will not end well. This is crazy. Smoking gas by the pump, man. I'm on drugs, I ain't drunk, man. Ballerina look like drumming. Ballerina look like drumming.
When we started Dark World, it was pretty abrasive in general. That's just a lot of like in-your-face stuff. First time we hung out and started making music, there was like 14 of us or something, and we were all just like, this is crazy. We're making ridiculous music, and we were just punks. Early Dark World, we just came together. We were just trying to fuck shit up, play crazy shows. I mean, at first, I think people were just like, what the hell is this at shows? I don't know if they necessarily related to any of it, but the energy's always been there,
I was like, this is it immediately made you want to go and be a part of that world and go buy a plane ticket, fly over to Western Mass or whatever, and just live like, I want to go there. I want to hang out with you guys. Let me, what I'm saying? Like, this is, how did that happen? How did you guys, did Fader come to you?
Yeah, they came to us.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you guys.
How did that happen? Shout out Juicebox from Milwaukee. He's like an old kind of avant-garde, experimental rapper, rock star. And he was sort of one of the more, I looked at him as like a predecessor to me of like weirdo rappers.
Yeah.
And he put out a record for me and Gods. And then from there, we had a good relationship with Fader writers. And one day they came out.
You say Gods, you mean God's Wisdom, right?
Yeah. So we had a good relationship since then, because the first thing that really got me in any sort of like publicity was Juicebox. He had good relationships with Fader people, and he was putting out our record, and so he gave that record to the Fader people, and then from there I think we were just sort of known in the office. And then a couple years later, they came out for the video,
and then they just kind of they just came out and just kind of infiltrated your scene, kind of just
they just came out for like 3 days. They were pretty great in the sense that like they didn't push any sort of narrative on us. They just sort of like watched us. Like they didn't tell us to do anything.
Yeah.
We would just, I mean, in that video, we're obviously clearly like 20 deep or like 25 deep. We would hang out like that to an extent, but that was like everyone together. I mean, that was a big moment. Like Fader coming to town, Western Mass, motherfuckers knew that was a big moment for us. So
yeah. So
but some of those kids in the video are not from West Mass, as you said too.
Yeah. So then what happened was I found that Fader video. I was like, who the hell are these guys? I found out that what the collective name was. So it led me over to the YouTube, kind of finding the YouTube channel. And the first video I watched was the Joe Montana video.
Oh wow, with Topra.
Yeah, is that what the song's called?
No. It's M16 Joe Montana by Topra, and I produced the beat.
Dude.
The artist is named Topra, yeah.
Okay, Toppy. Yeah. That video is like, that song is one of the craziest songs and one of the craziest videos I've ever seen.
You don't get it 100. You want it, got your dweller, leave him floating like a duckling in the Hudson. Wait, assumption. My flow is so disgusting, I'm so underground, Harriet Tubman probably spun it. Whoa, I'm fucking bugging. You are 8 balls short from an onion. Whoa, M16 Joe Montana, M16 Joe Montana. Bill Cosby, I'm designer. Bill Cosby, I'm designer. Papi Fuego got the answers. Tell swear I got the answers. 30 bitches up in purchase. Madonna daughter, baby dweller.
Good looking, yeah. So that was that's a homie Topper from New York, and that's us bringing him into Western Mass culture. And a lot of those people in the video were from New York City too. So that was sort of this New York City Western Mass mix up. And we would, Western Mass bands always, as I said, there was a Western Mass culture before us, way before. I mean, Dinosaur Jr. and Orchid and Stained and Killswitch Engage. I mean, there's so many bands and artists. We were just continuing something like Western Mass hardcore. I always see that as a kid, or Western Mass rock, Western Mass. I don't even know. Like Western Mass hardcore is very popular as a terminology. You'd see a lot, things like that. So I always like the idea of localizing our shit.
Yeah.
What did you just say? You just asked about Joe Montana. So when we were able to bring New York people and like New York rappers and people with New York accents and people in Western Mass look at New York people, I think that they're like fly, like they're the big city people. So when we could bring New York City people to Western Mass, it's always like a moment. You know what I'm saying? It always feels a certain way. It's like you're taking New York City artists and bringing them to, rural Connecticut or rural upstate New York. It's just like we look up to New York City a lot,
Yeah.
So Joe Montana was like a pinnacle of like Western Mass hip hop to me. Like, nah, we getting other people from other places to come out here and fuck with us and rep our shit too. Yep.
And then I found, and so I found the whole collective because I was found out about Dark World. I wanted to know what that was, but then I found out about you. I was like, who is this guy? It seems like he's like the leader or something like that. It seemed like you were like, the face of it or something like that. And so I was like, who's this? And I was like, oh, it's DJ Lucas. And I found Where the Sidewalk Bends.
Okay. First of all, I ain't even heard of y'all. Heard about a third of y'all. I go Larry Bird on y'all. First of all, I ain't even heard of y'all. Heard about a third of y'all. I go Larry Bird on y'all.
Can you give me just anything that you want to say about that song, about the music video? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that one I got to shout out Nick Briggs, who directed it, Grayson, who helped shoot it, Jake Whaler, who helped shoot it, and my boy Matt Lubansky, who really put that whole thing together. He really he like helped. And then Noel too. She did some costume stuff. So there's a lot of big team on that video. And it was a whole team in New York. And that's when Letter Racer, Wiki's label, had sort of unofficially signed me to one album. And that was Till Death Do Us Part with Where the Sidewalk Bends and Ballerina. And that was right when the Fader thing was happening as well. So there was sort of a lot of press and a lot of energy. I was actually back and forth to New York City all the time then.
And that Till Death Do Us Part is so good. The chorus.
Yeah, good looking. I love those. Like those were those real first, like me being folky all the way, like that, bringing out that West Mass out of me. But yeah, Where the Sidewalk Bends changed my life, and so did Ballerina. Look like Jumpman. I mean, it was weird. It was like I put out one and then I put out the other one and it just went back to back.
Why? What is the relation, or where does the relation to Where the Sidewalk Ends? Where does that come in?
Where the Sidewalk Ends it was just more about playing off of Americana or and things that I had grown up seeing, right? So like anything from nostalgia, we all love nostalgia. So those are just the simple aesthetic choices that I just chose to make. Like I don't know why, but those are just the things I am drawn towards. Like
it doesn't necessarily have like the lyrics don't have anything to do with Where the Sidewalk Ends or the book or anything. It's just you kind of take things that you're a fan of or like that you think are kind of like they sound cool in your head too, kind of like the way that they sound.
Well, yeah, I'm also like, right. So I've said it in my old songs. I was like the farm boy corner. Like I was literally like thinking about you know, everything in comparison, everything to me is like relatable. So it's like hip hop and like the idea of like, you know, like the corner as a concept where people are outside and outside of a store or whatever it is, you know. And to me, I'm from like somewhere where the corner, there's nothing on the corner, but I would be out there hanging with my friends because I wanted to be hip hop. I didn't know what that meant. So it's like where the sidewalk bends is the corner to me. You feel me? That's the corner. Like where the sidewalk bends is the country corner. You know what I'm saying?
That's so sick.
So that's how I thought of like, how can I take this and how can I take this and put them together? And so where the sidewalk bends felt like. And you know what's funny? There's this beer company in somewhere in the, can't remember. I think they're in the Midwest, but they made this beer where the sidewalk bends.
So what?
Yeah.
Well, and that's just and it's like
But they were trying to act like they didn't know who I was, but this came out in like 2019. I was like, bruh.
That's so awesome.
But they sent me a pack, so shouts out them.
But I think this can also lead into the next thing I wanted to ask about, which would be like your signature lines that you have like consistently throughout your albums and stuff like that, which is one of my favorite parts of your whole thing and the whole Dark World thing is just the ballerina stuff, the Jumpman stuff, the all the major labels need to see this. And by the way, is it see this or is it hear this?
All the major labels need to see this.
All the major labels need to see this. All the major labels need to see this. All the major labels need to see this. All the major labels need to see this.
I love that too.
That's why it's good.
Listening to it, and it's Reed.
That's Reed on that tag. Like all my tags are my friends. You feel me? Like there's a lot of tags. All the major labels need to see this. I mean, when people diss me, I fucking take their shit and put in a tag. You've heard the one that's like, I'm just gonna fucking say it, DJ Lucas sucks. I'm sure you've heard that tag. Like there's a lot of tags that people like, I'm just like taking anything from real life, trying to put in my music, because to me, my music's like a podcast. Like my music really echoes real life. So I might as well go all the way with it and just take a sample of someone saying something like that.
He does the one, who's the girl that's going, or I don't think it could be multiple girls, and they're going, DJ Lucas. Like, I just love it.
Oh yeah, like Big Bleep. Yeah, that's on that Big Bleep too.
Big Bleep music. Come on, man. Everything I've been hearing lately, it's just man.
Marking the beat, marking the beat, marking the beat.
All the major labels need to see this.
DJ, everything I say is a gem. All I want to do is smoke crème. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, you an ant.
I have like, shout out Becca and Jasiah. Like, I just, I got like just a lot of homies. Like, if I got homies around and I have a mic, or I'll hit them up. Like when I put out Big Bleep, I hit up a bunch of homies. Like, yo, send me Big Bleep tags. You feel me? So that's really from that. Like, that's why they sound so lo-fi too, because they're just voice recordings, people having fun. And then I just kind of get my homies, try to get the Western Mass voices in there so you can hear the accents and shit too.
Dude, it's all the things that make you.
This is why people do Dope. That's my homie Dro.
Yeah.
That was just from him talking shit on another song, and I was like, yo, I need all that.
Who does real Western Mass stuff?
Yeah, that's him too. Shout out Dro Brown.
This is why people do dope. Real Western Mass stuff. Ha!
And he got some songs on the channel and shit too, Dro. But
yeah, I mean, it's so easy to turn someone into a fan with your stuff with all those things.
But see, that's inspired by Lil Wayne, bro. Like in DJ Drama, like DJ Drama is like, DJ Drama, you bitches or whatever, you bastards, and it would be like Lil Wayne saying some shit. You feel me? So it would be like, and producers have always done that, just getting one of their favorite artists, maybe they work with the most or whatever, to get to do the tag for the production. But like I was just, man, I'm DJ Lucas because it's DJ Paul, DJ Nate. Like I really was interested in I'm not a perfectionist. I'm very much a collage artist. So it's very quick for me. I'm very like, I don't want to say I'm ADD because I don't know, but like I'm very like I don't care. Like the product to me is supposed to look sloppy, like because humans are imperfect. It's like perfection just doesn't look good to me. Like shit gotta be fucked up. Shit's not supposed to be mixed, like really. Like
yeah.
Because like live music is barely mixed. Like you're feeling it, you're having fun. Like I don't know. That's just how I think of things though. It's just my way.
Yeah.
I like little album covers and you see shit be looking like it's thrown together. You feel me? Like I got Lucas's Nation 3 right here. Like I made this album cover when I was a kid. You feel me? Like that's just a picture of me that I.
So you create a lot of these album covers, or no, or is it mixed?
Yeah, I mean they're really a huge mix. Shout out my boy Harry, and he did Unleashing These Bangers for You. He did um, Unleashing These Bangers Again. So like some of the ones that clearly look more high quality are like some of my friends. E. Watterson's done a lot of them. He did Hipster Nation is Crumbling and Big Bleep
About to
5.
ask you, dude, who did the Hipster Nation is Crumbling? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy E. Watterson. Shout out him. But I really keep it pretty close. I do a lot of them now. All the old ones I did. All the old ones. But God's Lucas was Ghost, who was a producer.
Mhm. And that's a mix. That's what's my
And Ghost used to do a bunch of album covers. He did Till Death Do Us Part too. He's fucking nice.
Would that be a split? You and God's Wisdom,
Huh?
God, Lucas. Is that a split?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just trying to think of the old covers because I did most of them, but that one, and a couple others, Ghost did. But I did most of them, man. When you could tell when I had that ballerina border, that's me. It's all on me on preview. I'm fucking around.
Okay, just on preview. Preview the thing that you open.
Yeah, like I use GarageBand. I use Preview for my editing. I use iMovie, the old iMovie, the one that's still like the blue one. Like I really do everything old, man. Just because like I don't like.
Was you made or what was it? It's like shit.
You made that shit on GarageBand. Yeah, that's EBE Bands. R.I.P. to him. He's from Chicago. He was a cool rapper, but
That was Reed.
huh?
Not that was Reed.
No, yeah, that's EBE Bands.
Okay. EB
Just
Bands.
random, but
Yeah. Shouts out to EB Bands too.
yeah.
And everybody, but we're not done. Who makes the beats? You said that you've been saying a lot of these songs. Oh yeah, I made the beat. I produced. Or do you produce all the beats?
Not all of them at all anymore. Too. It's been up and down. And with the older tapes, I made a lot of those beats.
Yeah.
Newer tapes, I make less. Like the most notable one I made recently was "I Still Dream." Like I like that beat a lot. I made that song. But no, yeah, lately I've been working with a lot of other producers, because I make my beats in GarageBand. So like,
yeah,
I just honestly I've been focused on it. I've been just focused on rapping. I've been focused on producing for other people, like Finesse Fresco, my homie, does the hook on Hadley. He's from Western Mass too. I'm gonna put out a whole tape for him, all produced by me. I got like 4 or 5 artists coming out where I'm doing their whole production. So you're gonna see a lot of DJ production. It's just not gonna be me rapping.
You're talking about continuous improvement, right?
Yeah, not Papo and Subject, who I did the album with, but Finesse Fresco. He did the hook on Hadley.
Oh yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Hadley, by the way, Hadlock, that's name, and my friend Trey Gridley. We back in the day we had a little thing that we put on MySpace. It was like 3 songs. It was like really ridiculous sounding songs, but they were kind of good at the same time.
Mhm.
We were using you're using GarageBand, but you make great shit. But we were using GarageBand and making not good shit and putting like shitty vocals over it. But anyways, we called it Hadley, and that's it. So when I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is something that like is from my childhood, or when I was like 17. Like,
Why did you guys name it Hadley?
because his last name is Gridley, and my last name is Hadlock.
Wow. Yeah, Hadley's just the town next to us.
There's actually, there's like when you drive from Arizona to California on the 10, there's a big sign that says Hadley, and I don't know if it's a store or a city. But anyways, we get into we digress, right? So God's Wisdom, that's my next note. It just says God's Wisdom, and I think that's just because he's one of the most interesting things about in Dark World. It as well in my mind, like. Where I also wanted to know what he's up to. It seemed like, for a while there, a lot of these people I don't know, I haven't really been seeing what they've been up to, because I only kind of follow the Dark World kind of YouTube. But is he doing anything right now with a solo project or anything? Or
Yeah, Gods does music. You look him up. He's doing hella music.
his thing? Yeah, because I wanted to talk about Beep Beep. That song and music video is like so fascinating.
Beep beep, and the traffic's moving slow. Beep beep, so many cars on the road. Beep beep, and the traffic's moving slow. I feel out of my mind on the road, 'cause traffic's moving slow. I feel out of control on the road. It's making me want to explode. I
love it.
Yeah. That's the same people who did Where the Sidewalk Bends.
Yeah.
The video. They
Okay.
did that video too. So shout out Nick. not all the same people, but Nick Briggs, man, he worked for Mass Appeal. He does a lot of editing now. He works for his own stuff now, but that's how I met him. Beep Beep though is just God's Wisdom. Lucy's from Cape Cod. God's is from my side too. I grew up with him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's not my song, so.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was just like, I thought maybe you had something to do with it. Maybe I always think that whenever there's a video that's released on that channel or whatever, it's like that you have something directing or something.
No, yeah, like the Dark World channel is really just like,
yeah,
it was always like a fluid group, like since day one.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's always been, realistically, I think back in the day, I wouldn't have been like, I'm the leader. But now it's sort of like clearly like me and my brother Dana, Weird Dane, who's like my blood brother. He makes a lot of the videos from back in the day that you've probably seen.
That's crazy.
And like,
the next note. It's just like
that's dope. So yeah, it makes sense. Like pretty much it's always been a curation of Western mass music by us. Dark World, the very early inception, was even different than what you saw on Fader. You know, there was 4 years or 5 years of different Dark Worlds before what people saw on Fader.
Yeah.
So it's just always been a growing group. Like literally we grew up, I feel like in some ways in front of the camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we were so young starting, like 17, and we were also early on content all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as Gods goes, he's still making music. You look it up, God's Wisdom. Him and Lucy actually put out an album recently that's really fucking dope. I'm surprised you haven't heard it. You should listen to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many things that I have to be following up.
Yeah,
on.
they're just not like, we're just not all chilling and shit. But like, I talk to them all the time. It's just like, not all the time, not Gods. I'll be talking to Lucy, but I just hit Gods the other day. But it's like, they're just, you know, they're in their own world too.
Yeah, after this, you know, I'm definitely going to, you know, make sure I make an effort to dive into.
Yeah, dive into Lucy because he has a big ass song with Boy Harsher. I don't know if you know who they are.
I've heard of Boy Harsher.
And they're from Western Mass too, so it's a whole like. There's a lot going on that's not me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah. I just like that's why I kind of just follow the Dark World YouTube and I just see what's kind of popping up on there, and then you know, but no, I
like Western Mass. Like we have a couple of like Gods, me, Lucy, Boy Harsher, Maldivisa, and then there's younger artists too right now, like Lil South, Eags, and then my boy Finesse Fresco, and then of course 22 Baby. That's sort of associated with, I mean, those are real Dark World members. Like, you know, but Dark World is more of just like at this point, it's just like an aesthetic, and you know, and like I can't even explain it. It's like
it's definitely
it's there for the people just to watch, and like it is what it is, but it's like it's very bizarre. It's not necessarily a group. It's like it's a religion, and it is a group sometimes, but you know, it's not always supposed to be that. It's also about putting on new people, you know, and putting on people like building the whole idea of Dark World was building an aesthetic that and like a group, like a label that represented us, because we didn't feel represented. We felt like there was noise music, there was indie rock, and we were a part of those things too. Hardcore. We always loved that shit. Like that's important in building me.
Yeah.
But Dark World was there to represent the new wave. You know what I'm saying? So whoever it best represents is going to do that. You know what I'm saying?
And it's definitely different now than it started, right? It's like
yeah, and like even my music is so different, right? Like I've leaned so heavily into like lyrical hip hop.
Yeah.
To an extent. Like so we all just grow and change.
That's the best part.
You know? But yeah, man, it's a lot of good Western Mass artists. So like it'd be silly to just say that I'm the only one or anything. Like there's other people currently going crazy. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Reed, I listened to his album, that it wasn't just Reed, it was what's that group? He came out with an album with somebody else or a couple other people. What's that like trio or duo that he did with Reed?
SRH?
SRH. So yeah, that's crazy. Are they conscious about the name SRH with that old, you know, clothing company?
We didn't know about that. Like
okay, but
yeah, SRH was just Sly Reed Hunter.
No, but dude, I was like, this is way cooler SRH, because you know, I'm not trying to talk shit about SRH, but you know, I wasn't a SRH Cottonmouth Kings guy in high school.
yes, even though we weren't hip to it, we're a little.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we're younger, but we didn't
no,
know.
I definitely know that you guys, weren't I could tell that maybe you guys didn't even know what it was actually, because it's
Yeah. I had no idea. But then we started looking it up and seeing the merch. We're like, yo, this shit's fly as fuck.
Yeah. It stands for what?
Sly C, Reed,
Oh yeah.
Hunna.
Head of the game, I've been left out, stuck in the rain. Now I just duck in the range. $1 for your trouble, Montclair on the bubble. Feel like Funk Flex in the tunnel, survive in the jungle.
Dude, I love that album too. It's really, really good.
Yeah, Subject, shout out Subject, man. He's like the greatest fucking producer that, like, I mean, I've been so blessed to meet him. You know what I'm saying?
It reminds me of those old like 90s, like early 2000s. I mean, like Dipset, maybe something like that, or I don't know, like something like that. I'm not,
Absolutely. It's super New York to me. I think SRH is one of the coolest albums that, but that, what was so cool about that too? Like, again, like you're asking like, oh, did you have something to do with Beep Beep? Like, it's cool that you think that, but like, no, like there, that was an entire, what we're lucky is that we'll find people that work with us. So, Nick Briggs made Where the Sidewalk Bends. And then his next thing was like, yo, I'm trying to think of other videos he made. He made a couple though, but then he's like, I'm going to make Beep Beep. Like he made a Reed video, House Arrest.
All the kids are smoking, crib is always open. All the kids are smoking, crib is always open. Loud is always smoking, loud is always smoking. All the kids are smoking, crib is always open. All the kids are smoking, crib is always open. All the kids are smoking, crib is always open. Loud is always smoking, loud is always smoking. All the kids are smoking, crib is always open.
He made Beep Beep, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, it's like we've been really lucky to be in these cities and these positions where we meet filmmakers and we meet producers, and you got to keep emotion alive. That's why it's like, people be like, what's going on with this? But it's like, bro, you got to keep the emotion alive, bro. Motherfuckers are gonna change and differ. You can't, it might not be the same. Like, that's what I tell musicians, you got to be outside like with this shit. And if you care, bro. It shows. You feel me? You work, and that's why SRH was a great example. That was a really cool little, summer year. I mean, hopefully we get that going again, like heavy, but like real life happens to some people too, you know what I'm saying? So, but SRH is crazy, and Subject is fucking monster, you know what I'm saying? And,
yeah, the producer, right?
Yeah, and Reed shit out there is always my goal. And then of course Hunalo and Sly are my brothers, so it's like anything when we keep it in the fam, but at the same time are willing to grow, that's the goal. You know what I'm saying?
And Subject is the guy from Continuous Improvement. But what's the name of the name of that group is Continuous Improvement, right?
Sort of. So yeah, we never came up with a name, but it's really is Papo 2004 and DJ Lucas and Subject 5, produced by Subject 5. So Papo is the other rapper. Shout out my boy Papo, of course. That's my fucking dog. And then this man Subject and him grew up together and shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like they're both from the same city type shit. And they're from Jersey, Elizabeth. And then I linked in with their whole squad. And the three of us just, it's sort of like an all-star team. Like me out West Mass, Dark World, and then them. Introduce them to Reed too. And then Wiki, they be with Wiki a lot. Subject made a whole tape with Wiki. They're about to go on tour with Wiki in like a week, 2 weeks. So just keeping the motion alive, man. You know what I'm saying? Always working.
Yeah. I talked to AZ Wake 2 Active a little bit about Branches. The collab you did with Branches.
I don't think that could ever live. I don't think that could ever live. I don't think that could ever live.
Crazy.
I were talking about how it kind of reminded me, he kind of has the same vibe a little bit of, not the same, but reminds me of the vibe of Shlomo a little bit. And you said he's kind of in his same camp, right?
Not in the same camp, but they were just from a similar era, I would say. And I think they actually they may have both gone to the same college.
Okay.
But regardless, yeah, both those people were like people that sort of looked out for me at a very similar time. Shout out Shlomo, man, my dog, and shout out Branches, of course.
No, Brad definitely does his own thing. You know, I wasn't trying to say.
I feel like their age too, or whatever, probably it's just a little bit older. I'm 29, so like, you know, I look at things very much like in boxes. Like, oh, this generation sneakerheads. Oh, this generation like Juice World. Oh, you know what I mean? That's how I look at things a lot of times. So,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
those are my fucking like that whole generation of people, like, you know, from whatever, like 30 to 36-year-olds. Like, I really like those people really inspired me. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, 30 to 40-year-olds, like those people really fucking inspired me. Like as a kid, like so everyone who's 30 to 40 now, like I'd be looking up to those people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Riches is like my dog. Like that's my heart. You know, like I really when I go to LA, that's who I chill with and stay with. And like that's my dog. Like he's one of the coolest people in the world. Like, it's fucking cool.
Yeah. So when you grew up, or when you were starting off in the kind of scene early on, you went to metal and hardcore shows and things like that, right?
Not as many hardcore shows and metal, but more noise rock. You know, Western Mass hardcore is something I saw a lot, but I didn't go participate. But it was indie rock, it was noise rock, it was experimental music mostly. It was a little bit of like reggae funk stuff. Of course, that's a Western Mass vibe too, big like jam bands.
Because I was in a band, Knights of the Abyss. I'm not trying to say anything, but I'm just trying to say that, like, from a guy that was in metalcore, the metalcore scene, deathcore scene, stuff like that. I when I look at your stuff, I'm like, hey, this guy. It seems like he was like in one of those bands.
Well, what's so funny is that I think like, well, yeah, you're from Phoenix, so that's like a big part of the aesthetic. I mean, I think that we were punk rock kids, so hardcore was, I don't want to say it was dying, but it was a different era. Like the mass hardcore that people knew was starting. I don't want to say it was going out the window, but there was way less bands. You know, and the venue, the Waterfront, I think was closed. You know, starting to close. There was things that were changing.
Yeah,
the music was changing. And I was involved in punk and indie rock, and you know our stuff got kind of hard and kind of metally, but it was really Dinosaur Jr. influenced, you know, and Jesus Lizard and Shellac and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then so it was still hard, but it was, you know, hipster hard. And then I was always into hip hop since a little kid, Kanye, Lil Wayne, whatever. Yeah. And then started making beats when I got the laptop because that's just kind of what you can do. You know, it's easier to make a beat than record your own shit. We were always recording our own punk bands, but the beats just made sense. And then from there, I was producing for other rappers like Morimoto and my brother and all these different rappers. Louis Go was the first rapper locally that really like gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And then I started rapping because I was alone. I'd moved to New York City and I got an apartment with Sporting Life's older brother, and Wiki kind of put me on in New York City to his community. So that's where I met Reed and a lot of people. And I was alone, and I was just like, you know, into Chief Keef and Salem and Death Grips and ASAP and Space Ghost Perp and all that stuff that was happening like 2014, 2013, Ruben Slick. And I just started making my own music, and that's Lucas's Mansion 1, which is somewhere online. And from there,
it's hard to find. Like
I think it might be on Bandcamp. I don't know where it is. Yeah, I haven't put up a lot of my old music on. Like,
I actually think I have listened to it. Actually,
there's a couple of the old tapes that aren't up on things, but started making my own music alone, and then that's where DJ Lucas was born as far as an artist. Like, I think I had already been DJ Lucas for maybe like a year or a year and a half as a producer. Like I had named myself that. Like maybe I was like 18 or 19 or something. But by the time I was 21 is when I put out Lucas's Mansion 1.
I fucking love
and then right around then is all the Fader stuff. Like after that, like a good like 2 years.
That had to have been the thing that really kind of
the Fader.
Yeah, it gave you leveled you up a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, it was a lot. It was like there was a lot of Fader articles at once. You know, they were talking about my album. They were talking about me and God's album. There was you know, so we were excited, you know, because we're hipster, the kids, like, oh my God, like, I mean, at least I was. I could speak for myself. I was so excited. I couldn't believe that shit, you know, that we would really made it to this point. And that felt like that was the goal, you know, to be on Pitchfork or something, a little article or whatever. So that was exciting as fuck, man. But yeah, as I said, it's always about keeping the motion and finding new goals new acclimates, you know. Now my goal is like, oh, I want to go to Detroit and take over, get everyone respecting me. You know, it's like I just want to go to every city you tap in. Like I was just in Milwaukee, I was just in Detroit. Like
We're gonna get you out here in Phoenix.
Phoenix, that you know, that's my goal. You know,
Out here, and that's another thing. It's like you were out here not too long ago, so it's kind of we have to wait a little bit, but we're going to be getting you at the Egyptian Motor Hotel for sure.
Mhm.
But once we talk about that, figures maybe make a deal or something like that. So I wanted to talk to you about No Jumper. You being on the No Jumper podcast, you've been on there what 2 or 3 times, something like that.
no, I did an interview and then I did a tour with them back in the day, like
Really?
2018. I can't remember exactly off rip right now, but somewhere in that world.
Who was on the tour that was on?
It was me, I don't know, Jeffrey and Chapo.
Wow.
And it was just a couple shows. It was a New England tour. I think we played 4 shows, maybe. I think we had maybe 1 or 2 more, but I can't remember exactly. 4 shows.
Yeah. How did that come about? Did you meet Adam? How did you meet Adam?
He just liked my music. He hit me up. People in LA, murmurs in the crowd. Motherfuckers was fucking with the kid. And he was just like, yo. And I was just young. Like, it was after the Fader thing. And I was like, yo. It was, you know, it felt like another opportunity, of course. So I drove to LA. I met Adam.
Sorry.
Because he hit me up. That's what I'm saying. He hit me up and I just drove out there. And he was putting my music at the beginning of their vlogs and shit. That era, he was like making vlogs. Honestly, that's how I really found out about No Jumper too. Like I had seen a couple of their interviews and then people were like, oh, he's fucking with you. So I started watching his vlogs and stuff. I was like, whoa, I'm in these shits. What the fuck? That's crazy. I'm always still surprised when anyone likes my music, really. Like I always see little old Instagram clips, someone skating to my music or something. I'm like, what the fuck? Like these are crazy. Or someone BMXing and you know. But yeah, I went to LA and did an interview with them and fucking did a tour. It was dope. Shouts out them. That was a crazy opportunity. It was fun as fuck.
Yeah. Before we do, I wanted to ask you a question I ask a lot of my guests. What is the craziest thing? I ask comedians, what's the craziest thing they've ever seen happen at a comedy show, or just the craziest thing they've seen. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen happen at a show? You know what I'm saying? Like with a comedian, they'd say somebody bombing really hard, somebody falling on stage.
Okay, I mean, off rip for some reason, what came to my head was just like, we played a show one time at Bennington College and like the entire, like, you know, those like outdoor stages, the entire thing like caved.
Whoa.
I still had the videos. They were so crazy. It was because all the cops just like the campus security like came and like sort of like was getting everyone out of this. But yeah, the things caved. Something happened. You know, that was Xanax era, but something crazy happened. Like I think the cave went down.
Damn.
I mean, sorry. The stage went cave. You know what I'm saying? Shit crazy. But what else happened to shows?
You guys performing on the stage when it?
Oh yeah.
Whoa! And
but it wasn't like too high. You feel me? Like
yeah, but it just like
one of them outdoor shits, like where you like build it.
Is that from everybody jumping on it and being?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. I think that's sometimes I think that's what people want to happen.
Like one time we did a house party in Western Mass when we were really young for a Louis Go taxidermist show, I think, and like a lot of people came. I would say like a good 200 to 300, 250 to 300 people came, and the cops damn near broke down the doors. Like, came in and fucking like, they came in like the SWAT on that shit. And then they came down to the basement, and every single person was quiet. Like, and the cops were like, "How many people down there?" And they watched 200 kids walk up them stairs. And we're like, "How the fuck y'all have that many people in there?"
Holy shit!
That was a cool show experience. Things I've seen on stage, though. I don't know. One time I've seen a band play naked at UMass in a classroom.
What? But you guys, they were using the classroom as a place to perform.
Yeah, it's like some UMass shit. Like they like rented one of the like lecture rooms. You feel me? Like they dead ass had a lecture room, and they got naked, bro. But like they had their guitars in front of their shit and stuff. It was really crazy. I wish I could remember who that was, and, like why I was there. But there was not that many people at the show. I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Yeah. But I had a punk rock dad, so that's just kind of normal to me. You feel me? Naked band, like that's
performance art, maybe stuff like that.
It's like a 5 out of 10 on the Richter scale of how crazy this shit gets, you know?
Yeah. Before we get into another question I ask, which would be one of the last things we kind of do here, your top 5 favorite movies, but let me give you my top 5 Dark World songs.
Go for it. I love that.
That'll be a special segment for this episode. So I'm gonna try to do it off the top of my head too. Let's do okay. Holy shit. This is hard. Okay. I'd have to like scroll. Okay. So I think Joe Montana is gonna be one of them. I'm not gonna really go in order either, I don't think.
No, don't worry.
It'll be hard to do that.
Cool. No, yeah, just list them off. Good 5.
It's called Joe Montana?
Joe Montana, Topra.
Probably Till Death Do Us Part.
Dope by me, DJ Lucas.
By DJ Lucas. I'm gonna say, okay. I asked you AZ way too active. I was trying to like hum it to you, and you were like, "What song is that?" And it's with Lucy, with you, and some other people, and you're like, the video is like really like, it's like almost like a kaleidoscope. Like there's different colors and like, fuck, what's the name of that song? Oh my god. Either way, another song I'll say is probably The Hipster Nation's Crumbling.
Shout out my girlfriend. She did vocals on that song. That's the other vocals. At the end of the song, you'll hear like a girl voice. That's my girlfriend.
I gotta say, what else? Probably. Oh man, I gotta pick like one that's like has a lot of people on it. I don't know, but I want to try to find this one. Here, do your.
Is it Ever Since the Dope? Is it Casino? Is it Creme de la Creme?
There's this one that has. Shit. Fuck. I don't know the name of it, but it's like. Fuck. I don't know.
Does it have a video?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now. It's like, you know that horn sample, like beep, 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 like beep. You guys are literally using it like in the beat, and it's like beep, 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 beep. Like you're using it over and over. It's like fucking. Oh my god. Oh, Club Casualties.
Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. That's Ghost, who I was talking about earlier. So Club Casualties is Ghost and Lucy is like a duo.
I hate playing my game, you know, start to feel strange when I start to hear your voice, girl, when you say my name. LUCYBOY 39222509. I'm at the other end of the wire, if only for a limited time. And for all that I know, real life aficionado. When I look in the mirror today, I say, who are you? Eyes red, white, blue, like something went wrong. Smoking on gas and singing my songs.
But you directed that music video, right?
No, my brother did. My little brother did that whole music video. Weird Dane. Yeah, he's beautiful with it. He's fucking
I
legend.
thought you directed it. It says
So that's like such a West Mass thing to me. Like that thing is crazy. Like yeah, that's an amazing song to me. I love that.
song.
I'm in the video dancing. I think
Yeah.
that
So
one I'm rocking out.
this was probably going to think that I was like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just
No. You got those are going deep. Joe Montana,
Yeah.
Walk Away,
I knew.
Till Death Do Us Part.
And then I have one more, right?
Yep.
Oh, and then probably, shit. Where the Sidewalk Bends for sure.
Good looking. That's 4.
Oh, there's 4. Okay, there's another one. Okay, probably
Beep Beep.
Beep Beep. Let's just say that. But I could do a top 20. That's all. I could do a whole like. I love a lot of shit that you guys all.
Good looking, bro. That's dope. That's cool.
Because I could go on and on. But let's do. Okay, I ask every guest what their top 5 favorite movies are, and I really think that we can get a really interesting one out of you. I think.
Oh man, me like movies. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I
I
stopped.
barely watch fiction things. Like, so I'm such a fucking psycho. Like, I fucking watch fucking there's like documentaries. Even before this YouTube documentary era, I was just obsessed because my parents used to distribute documentaries. That's what was their job, distribute documentaries. You feel me? Like, so
Oh, really?
I used to fucking be putting hella posters in these fucking FedEx tubes and sending them, going to Hatfield with my dad, send them shit to FedEx. Like, it was cool. It was hella. I still have hella like reel to reel film in my crib that like my parents probably films that they distributed that never like saw the light of day or
Are there
what.
some popular ones that I might know about that they?
Um, they didn't do. I mean, a lot of popular King Corn, the Dr. Bronner's documentary.
I've
King
heard of porn.
Corn.
I've seen the Netflix. I come across it on.
Yeah, my mom has a company that she does that stuff. So
That's
that's
amazing.
what she does. It's really cool. So I grew up like thinking art and money were like palatable.
Have you ever seen the documentary Dear Zachary?
That's so weird. Is that the Leave It to Beaver thing?
It's a documentary about a guy who.
Yeah. I've seen that,
Yeah.
but somehow I don't know if my parents they didn't do that, but maybe those filmmakers my parents did something with. That's so weird. I remember hearing that movie. That's so weird. You said that. I remember hearing that movie about that like when I was a little kid because it probably came out a long time ago, right?
Yeah, like 2000
2007.
or something.
What?
Well, I think it came out earlier than that. Earlier than 2012 but I think when it released onto like platforms and things like that was like 2010, 2012.
Yeah. That's so weird. You said that, but yeah, that movie was pretty cool. I remember that. So yeah, that era of documentaries for sure. Cropsy, you know.
Oh yeah. I've heard of Cropsy. Is that about the killer?
Yeah. In Staten Island or whatever in the mental place.
Yeah. The mental asylum or whatever.
I think for kids or something, if I'm not mistaken. It was a really fucked up shit. But yeah, man. Okay, top 5 movies though. I like documentary. Let me pull some up. I love Children of the Corn. That's my film. I love Children of the Corn. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say,
you reference that in your music as well.
yep. I'm gonna say
Out of the corn.
a movie called Crime Wave by a director named John Pays. I just loved since I was a kid. He's like a Canadian director, but that's just like most insane movie ever. Look up Crime Wave. He's a cool like
Wave.
card director.
And it's a movie. It's a
Yep, by John Pays called Crime Wave.
Okay.
Paiz, I think. I
Okay.
can't remember. But yeah. And then I fuck with man, see, I'm not good with movies, bruh. Fucking
You are so far. Those are some
but those are more like referential to me. Like Crime Wave is something that like I loved since I was a kid. My dad put me on to.
yeah.
Like Children of the Corn is something I always like the Malachi kid. I always thought was him. I was like, that's like my little spirit animal.
What
And
about
then
comedy? Can I get a comedy?
a comedy, okay, like a great comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what else I'm gonna throw in? Straw Dogs with Dustin Hoffman.
Okay. I haven't seen that one, but
That's the one, right, in Ireland and everything.
okay. Straw
Dogs.
Okay.
Straw Dogs.
I'll check that one out. And
Right.
cry.
Make sure that's what I'm talking about. Yup, Straw Dogs. See, I'm a horror film guy, so Straw Dogs. Then we throw in Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
And then a comedy. Oh man. See, I don't want to throw in that. I want to throw in Strangers on a Train or Rear Window.
Yeah, just something. Yeah, and that just it doesn't.
Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's their like yeah. I'm like really a horror and I like old suspense. I
Yeah.
like suspense films. But like then I'll throw another Slumdog Millionaire. Crazy. Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, we could do a top 20. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are just, okay, now that I got warmed up, I was just finding movies I like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
basic, hipster shit, bro.
yeah. Hey, let's your plugs, what is the future of DJ Lucas? What's the future of Dark World? What do you got
Future
coming?
is just every day working, selling CDs and tapes and shirts and booking shows and working and linking and building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm doing this pretty good right now, so I'm just saying it's more of the same.
Yeah. Going with the flow. Yeah.
And like, I'm not trying to be like, I don't yearn to be like, people will be like, one day I know you'll make it, bro. I'm like off the TikTok shit. I'm like, kind of love it. Like, it doesn't make, nothing really makes me like that mad. Like with me, like you can't really like make me mad about my music, like hating on me or something. But that shit like is just funny to me because it's like, I don't want to make it. Like, I don't want to make it, whatever that means. I don't want to make it. I'm chilling. Like, I'm already made it. Like, to me, like,
Yeah.
I'm making music every day. I'm happy. I'm not that stressed.
People tell you, oh, you got to get on TikTok. Are you saying that? Are you saying
no. I'd be on TikTok going crazy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
But then people off TikTok who have never seen me before, they're like, one day you're going to make it, dude.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's just interesting people's perception. Like, I don't wear designer clothes like that much. So people will be like, you haven't made it yet. Or like, oh, we don't see you like next to on the like Rolling Loud or like the Grammys. It's like, bro, I don't want to do any of that shit. Like, I'll do it if they ask, I guess, but like, it's like, that's not the goal. The goal is to make crazy art. It's always been that. Got me here. All those things you talked about, all just are great. That's why I fuck with the interview at the end of the day, because you like the art. You're interested in the art.
Yeah, man. You wouldn't be DJ Lucas if you did take that advice that people, or those suggestions from people, or those like, you're gonna make it, you're gonna one day, like, whatever. You are gonna make it, but in your own way is what I'm saying. I'm very high. It's 10:54, a little slow right now. I'm a little, no, we're good.
No, we're not slow. It's good, bro.
You're not. No, I'm fine. But yeah. So how do we end this one? What do we do? I don't know. Do we count down? No, we can't count down because what's his name? Jim Norton.
Here, I'll end it off like this. I never do this, but I'm gonna give you a little verse. I'm gonna read it like it's poetry, though.
Nice. Okay, there we go.
All right. I said, am I deserving? Let's stand up because the table's always turning. Mom says the lyrics and the music sounds concerning. That's why I'm dealing. I'm always searching for a feeling. Sometimes the 9 to 5 starts to seem more appealing. The small town ceiling, so I'm chilling in the barn. Chem dog in my bleep, the smoke spilling out the car. I'm lifted and not sure if I'm crazy or I'm gifted or fully gone. Life's a roller coaster and I'm holding on. All right, that's lovely.
That has been the podcast of Dustiny, episode 37. DJ Lucas, this has been an incredible moment in my life. Thank you, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, I'm glad we could chop it up. It's good shit. I got to come out to Phoenix soon.
Egyptian Motor Hotel, that is going to be the place I'm going to be getting you on. We'll talk about that more after I end this episode right now. But thank you very much for everybody for watching. If you could subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. It just helps me, progress, I guess. So yeah, and make sure you go check out DJ Lucas on all platforms. Check him on tour if he wherever he's playing live. Check all that stuff out. He's an amazing down-to-earth guy, and you won't be disappointed when you'll become a fan just like everybody else becomes a fan when they listen to their stuff. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Do us part.